Hey everyone, I've noticed nobody else much, maybe Temojin's doing some reviews on season 10. I've also not been doing anything like that. I've been a little busy. It's a super busy spring for me. But I got this morning, so I figured I would do what I've been meaning to do, which is at least one of those quick overview, maybe prediction of season 10. And I've watched the first 2 episodes, I must say. So I have a little bit of insight. That said, it hasn't changed my prediction yet. So even watching those first 2 episodes, so we'll just see if I'm right. Who knows? But also give you a few thoughts. And so first, let's just think about the contestants. And the first one that pops to my head is Alan Tenta, who I had to say he kind of reminds me of somebody, or I get the impression that he could do really well if he's a school teacher, but you don't have to be like a survivalist full time. What I like about him is he's got a lot of hunting and fishing experience and a lot of the basic knowledge that I think you would need to do well on the show. The fundamentals are all there. Honestly, if I only had one concern about Alan, it's that he's a little muscular maybe, and I know that can burn some calories. So we'll wait and see how he does. But I like him a lot. I feel like he's somebody that could really do well. We're making this brief because I'm just squeezing it out there. I read somebody on Reddit was like, man, nobody's doing reviews this season. It's a bummer. I'll at least slap this out there for you while I still can. Second was, who else? We got Jody. Now, Jody, she's had some injury, a pretty serious farming accident in her recent past, it sounds like. Which is tough. I don't know if anything like that's going to flare up and cause her an issue. She also seems to have, I'm sure she's really tough. I'm sure she's got sounds like she grew up in Wyoming, which is always a good sign. You're around hunting and fishing and all that kind of stuff if you grow up there. So she could do really well if, but I have seen the first episodes. My only concern is always the log cabin. There's all kinds of different schools of thought, but I think it's a tough choice to build a log cabin on alone, because for the few months that you're there, I've talked about it before. I'll get into it a little bit here. It's like, to build a really warm, sealed log cabin, that's a lot of work. It requires some serious logs, some serious chinking, because you can have all the thickest logs in the world. If the seams between them aren't really well sealed, it's not going to do you any good. You have to have a door that's really well sealed. The difference between a warm cabin and a shelter that's pretty simple but that blocks the wind is, I guess I could say the difference between a cold cabin and a shelter that blocks the wind is minimal, but the amount of work that goes into building like a mediocre bushcraft log cabin compared to the amount of work that goes into building a quick shelter is incomparable. But you're not going to have that much warmer of a shelter even if it's a log cabin, unless you've really worked to seal everything super well. You've mastered the door to where it's not leaky, and and then you just keep it heated with that thermal mass and stuff. But that's just so much work. I've built cabins and shelters, and have lived in very cold environments, and I just feel like, and I've lived in, and with natives, of course, out there in teepees and such, and I've lived in cabins, and all that to say, the cabin's great if you have it and you have a fireplace that's really good. I will say Jody's fireplace looks awesome. So she's got that taken care of, but still just a lot of work. And now maybe she has the calories to burn, and if she can get it built and shift into hunting and fishing and has success there, there's definitely a route forward. It's just, I'm trying to pick little nuances that give me a hint into how the people are gonna do, and so I have to be really nitpicky. Honestly, she could do awesome. She has everything it takes, mentally probably and physically probably, but the cabin's just the route I wouldn't take, and because of the calorie expenditure, and the reward, even if you get it built, is I don't think what you'd expect, unless you've put so much effort into that cabin that you've already lost all the potential caloric rewards. Anyway, long story short, then we got Anne, who is an organic farmer. I like what she said in her, when you talk about yourself, she's aware that she's an older woman and that she has a metabolism on her side, so she can kind of play the chiller, slower game. I'm not sure how much weight she put on before the show. She doesn't look big, but she kind of knows what an advantage that is, and if she can lean into that and kind of keep low key on the calorie expenditure, she could be someone to watch out for on the slow burn game if nobody gets big game or lots of fish and stuff. And then Melanie, she's somebody that looks fun. She seems like a super cool person. I've seen her comment here and there a little bit online too, and it just seems like a really nice, likable person. She's got her farm up in New York there, and what a change in paths for her from, I guess, her younger life when she was a model. I think living in the city and all that, and now out doing alone. Like, that's pretty awesome. And I think she'll go a long ways with her, positive mindset and the skill set that she has built. So going to be fun to watch her. Again, another positive person. You got Taz, who is great dude. He's from Brazil. He's seen hardship. I'm sure he has the perspective that is necessary to put whatever suffering he's about to go through in complete perspective. He's gonna keep it. I don't think he's gonna have big mental breaks because of that. I think what his trial, like everybody that I think is in the upper echelon, is gonna be is food procurement, and he's kind of new to the hunting game, which it's a hard place to learn archery and bow hunting, because the margins of error are so small and opportunities are usually pretty sparse. You can get one opportunity that whole time you're out there, and if you make not just that, you might make a great shot, but that's not the end of the story. There's a lot of opportunities to screw up if you're learning along the way on alone. It's just high stakes. So anyway, I think Taz could do really well. He's a thicker guy. He's got the body style for it. He's got, I think, the mindset for it. And he's got a lot, he's an ingenious guy. I just think his hunting, he just doesn't have the experience hunting that I think is really valuable out there. You got Luke. Luke's one of the guys that I think could go a long ways and do really well. Not only did he grow up, his dad was a well-known outdoorsman and survivalist, but he himself has been immersed in that whole lifestyle his whole life. He teaches, he hunts. He's from Idaho, which is a good sign apparently on this show. He lives in Maui now, but he's got all the skills you need, and from my interactions with him, he kind of has his priorities figured out really well. So honestly, and he's put on some weight for the show, so I don't know, he's definitely somebody that could win it. I think people might maybe what I read online, people judge him, he's got dreadlocks or whatever. I think, well, don't forget, he's also from Idaho. No, just kidding. But he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. On the first episode we did see him, I really liked the way he prioritized his activities out there. It seemed like I can tell he knows what he's doing. He's got all that it takes to do really well. He missed the bear when he saw it, which is a bummer because it looked like a golden opportunity for the show's first bear, but he didn't let it get him down. I'm sure he'll readjust and continue to find opportunities. So keep your eye on Luke. And then we got Lee. Lee is somebody that I would almost say would be my pick, but he's got a lot of experience in the north. I feel like he's probably got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. The only problem being he's really thin. Like he looks like, not only did he not put on much weight, but he didn't have much to start with. So that really puts the pressure on. Kind of reminds me of one of the, some of the native guys that I know in Russia who super knowledgeable, also have all the tricks, but who knows if they ever archery hunted also. So I don't know if what Lee's past on that is. It might have been something he had to pick up for the show and try to figure out. It's not typically something people in those northern villages do a lot, but so that's something that he's gonna have to learn. But I think he can make up with it with all his other knowledge. Honestly, he'd be maybe my top pick if only it weren't for his body style. That's a tough one. Speaking of which, we also have Cade Cole, who he's a hunter from Wyoming, done a lot of guiding. And honestly, I gotta say, he's one of the people I'm most excited to watch because he's got an unorthodox strategy, which I always like to see, and it's an active strategy, which I also like to see. He's out there hardly building a shelter. He's just gonna hunt hard. He's gonna be like a comet, he's gonna go hard and burn out fast if he burns out, but if he doesn't, he might hit the home run. So it's a fun strategy to watch. He also has kind of unique items. He didn't bring an axe or a saw, or so I'm excited to watch that all play out. We did see him lose his quiver in the episode I watched, which for his strategy, that is a real kick in the pants. So hopefully he can recover from that, find his arrows or make some, or get back on track. But again, he's one of the guys I'm excited to watch just because of that swing for the fences mentality, and I think he has what it takes to take down big game. It's just, can he make the opportunity happen? Again, all right, Cade. Well, what brought me to him? He also didn't put on much weight, which is you don't want any disadvantages when you're out there, and that is a disadvantage. So then we got Mikey. Mikey also feel like has all the skills necessary. Sounds like he hunts and fishes and does all that. It's from the south. He's probably he's somebody that's probably mentally resilient because he's got his 5 kids and autistic son. He knows why he's out there, and that's going to give him a lot of power. But I guess the hard thing with him is that he is so unfamiliar with that northern terrain, that it's just a lot to have to soak in and learn. And it's very different than the South, which is a big disadvantage, especially when you go to someone like Lee, or like Alan, who's from up there in BC, or Wyatt, who would probably be my pick, who he's kind of got the body style. He's I don't think, I don't know his mental situation, but I typically think people, if they can get the food, a lot of people are going to be able to do all right out there. I feel like he will. And so it's a matter of him getting the food, but he's in his home territory. It's such an advantage to be so familiar with that place, because when you go back to your shelter at night, it feels like home. You know what paths are available forward to you. You're not poking in the dark all the time. And so I think he's got a huge advantage in location. He's got a pretty good body style for it. And he has an experience hunting and fishing, some stuff he's been doing his whole life. So I feel like the deck is stacked in his favor, unless, I don't know. I guess my picks, just looking at it, and again, granted, having watched the first 2 episodes, would be Luke or Wyatt. I feel like they're the ones that have the most potential going in. Again, though, I've got some wild cards in there, and that I'm really excited to watch Cade, because I think if he can bring down big game, that's a whole game changer, and I know that he can. It's just will it happen is a different story. And then anyway, lots of interesting things to watch on this season. The first 2 episodes, I got to say, have been better than the last couple seasons. I feel like it's gotten off to a really quick start, well edited, well put together show, and it's actually fun for me to watch, which is awesome. I'm not going to be able to watch much more until later, because I'm going to be out in the wilderness starting in 2 days for most of the summer. But I wanted to at least get something out there for you guys who are watching and don't get a chance. Morning, still drinking my coffee. Anyway, for those of you who are talking and never mind. Basically, my pick is Wyatt or Luke. I don't know. But again, into the season, I like all the contestants. Excited to watch them. I feel like, again, we got a batch of people that are cool. I'd hang out with any of them if ever the opportunity arose. And we'll see. All right. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching.